Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Almighty Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful. I welcome you all to online class of Programming Fundamentals. It is actually the 6th class of the series. Before starting our today's topic, let's have a quick recap of our last lectures. We'll give you an overview what we have done till this point. From starting, we discussed the programming languages and their types, and then later on we started discussing data types. We also discussed the variables, the int, the float, the character, and the different types of variables. Then we discuss input and output statement used in C language. We discuss different terminologies like keyword, format specifier, address operator, and so on. After that, we discuss operators. What is an operator? Operators used in C language. So basically, till this point, we discussed the basics of programming. Now we will start discussing the real programming skills. For that, the first thing that we are going to study today, that is decision structures. The first question that will be raised in your mind, that what is a decision structure? A decision structure basically used to make certain decisions. In order to make decisions in a program, we use decision structures. There are multiple types of decision structure used in C language. I'll list down the name of those. The first decision structure that we will be going to use is the if statement. The second one is if else statement. Third one is else if statement. The fourth one is switch statement. The fifth one, which is actually an alternative of operator, is an alternative of if else. So these are the types of decision structures that we will be going to use in C language. The first one is if statement. Second, if else, if, switch, and ternary. Each one of them has its own application and can be used to carry out different evaluations or taking decision in a computer program. Well, We'll start with the first type of decision structure. Let me give you, basically there are two types of transfer of control structure, TOCS, transfer of control structures. The first one is unconditional. Unconditional transfer of control structure. Unconditional. The second one is conditional. What is a transfer of control structure? Basically, transfer of control structure in which you will control the transfer of compiler. Like compiler, first it execute this line, then after executing the first line, then will execute the second, then will the third and fourth and fifth. So this is transfer of control structure. That means that compiler will first execute the first, then will the second line, the third line, the fourth line, and at last the fifth line. So you can control this transfer by one of the two following ways. The first one is unconditional, the second one is conditional. It is conditional transfer of control structures. Decision structures. If we define transfer of control structure, that means basically to alter the normal execution style of a compiler. Normally compiler executes the program by taking one line at a time, then after then go for the second line, then third, fourth, fifth, and it executes the entire program in one shot. But you can actually control this transfer. The controlling of this transfer of compiler is known as the transfer of control structures. And I had already told you that these are the types of transferring. One is you can control unconditional, means without giving up any condition you can control, you can alter the transfer of compiler, and for that we use the goto keyword. Goto keyword. It is a keyword used to control the transfer of control. For example, this is a line and I had written this line. I will give you a label. For example, this is A5. I had given the name A5. This is label. This is actually a label. And I write goto. Goto is a keyword, and then I write A5, statement terminator. So after executing this line, the compiler will skip these lines and will not execute these lines and will jump towards the A5, a line having a label A5. So what a compiler will do? Compiler will jump to the A5, the line having a label A5. So what I did, I basically I'm basically controlling the transfer of the compiler. And transfer of control structures are the structure that is used to alter the normal execution style of a compiler. The normal execution style of a compiler is executing the first, the second, the third. This is the normal execution style of compiling. While we can control this by transfer of control structure, the first one is the goto. Goto is a keyword used to control the normal execution style of a compiler. The second one is conditional, and conditional transfer of control structure, also called decision structure. Decision structures like this. These are the transfer of control structures. So here we discuss the transfer of control structure. So decision structure is basically a type of transfer of control structure that is used to alter the normal execution styles of a compiler. Decision structures is used for making decision. To take some certain decision, we will use the decision structures. I hope you people have understand, but if you have any question, you can ask your question in the class. In the Google Classroom, you can leave your question as comment in the Google Classroom. So first, let's start with the first type, that is the if statement. If statement basically a decision structure used to evaluate single condition if statement, a decision structure used to evaluate a single condition. If we talk about the general syntax, the syntax that is used for, so the syntax for if statement, that is if keyword followed by a pair of parentheses. Inside the pair of parentheses there will be a condition that the compiler will evaluate, and then we will have a statement. This statement will be executed only once the condition is true. If the condition is false, the compiler will skip this statement. We can also have for example, if we have if is a keyword, then followed by the condition, and we have more than one statement, then the compiler will basically statement 1 statement n. If we have more than one statement, then that must be enclosed in a curly brackets, the flower bracket. It is optional in a single statement. If you write, and then it's optional. But if you have more than one statement connected within a single if condition, then all those statements must be enclosed in the flower bracket, in the curly brackets. This is basically the general syntax of if statement. We will try to write a program. We'll try to write a program for that by starting. Let's hash include the first library that has to be mentioned, that is the standard input output, include conio.h. Then we have the main function, then we have the flower, the curly bracket started, CLR SCR, a function used for clearing a screen. I am taking an edge from a user, so printf enter your edge. Then scanf is an input statement used to take values for runtime, %d, while edge is basically %d is used for integer values, and we will use the ampersand, the address operator, age. Now at this point we have taken the value of age. What we want to do, we want to check this value. So we will write a condition by using an if statement. If age is greater or equal, relational operator 18, and a relational operator always returns a value in two form. Either that value may be a true or false. If age is greater or equal to 18, then what we have to do, printf you are eligible for CNIC. I had to decrease the size of this so you people could understand easily. If age is greater or equal to 18, then printf you are eligible. If age is greater, the second, less or equal to 18. So there are the two way. Your age may either be greater than 18 or less than 18. Greater than 18, that the difference here, the greater and equal for two cases, whether your age is equal to 18 or greater than 18. In both the cases you are eligible for CNIC. While in the second case your age is less than 18. You can also write, this is the comment, compiler will not consider this, age is less or equal to 17. You can also write this condition, it is exactly equal to this, age is less or equal to 17. So what you have to do, printf you are not eligible for CNIC. So this was our program, getch, and end of this program. So first of all I have to copy this program. This is actually our program. Copy this and try to create a test program in the root library of C language, that is Turbo C++, disk, bin. We have already created unary here, or you can also copy this and then paste it here. Copy. Let me check. First copy, then paste. So this will be our test program. So test, the structure is same, so only we have to copy the main function from this to this. Control V. So our test program will be like this. Then save it. Now let me give you the explanation of this program. It is clear till this point. Now when compiler execute this line, compiler will go to the RAM section and will allocate a memory of 2 bytes system dependent, and the name of the variable is age, and it will store 10. It will not store any value. It will only allocate 2 bytes memory system dependent. Then the compiler will display this message on screen, enter your age. It will be displayed on your screen, enter your age. After that, user will enter any specific value. For example, the user have entered that my age is 20. Compiler, this line, basically the input statement, will take this 20 and will input this into the variable. So the value of variable will be now 20 after executing this line. Now compiler will move to this section. If age, that includes the value the value 20, is 20. If 20 is greater or equal, it's not equal but actually greater than 18, so the condition is true. So the compiler will execute this line. So it will be displayed on your screen that you are eligible for CNIC, for Computer National Identity Card. Then after executing this line, compiler will check this line. So what it will does basically, it will check that age which has 20 in it, 20 is not less than 18, so the condition is false. What will the compiler will do? Compiler will skip this line. It will not execute this line and will go to the next line and will complete the executing of this program. The line, the body, the statement will only be executed once when the condition is true. If the condition is false, compiler will not execute the line. So you are not eligible for the CNIC. It is one case. Say for example, in the second case, when a user enter a value less than, for example, a user had given 16, so 16 will be stored in the age variable. Now the value of age is 16. Compiler will first this condition. If age is greater or equal to 18, that means 16 is greater, no. Is equal to 18, no. The condition is false. The compiler will skip this line, will not execute this line. Now here the value of age is 16. 16 is less than 18, the condition becomes true. The compiler will execute this body and it will be displayed that you are not eligible for CNIC as your age is less than 18. This is called dry run. जिस तरह मैं आपको रन करके बता रहा हूँ, this is called dry run. Let's have a practical view of this program. Let's open our program. File open. What was the name of the program? Test. You have entered the test. This is actually that program. First we need to compile this. So luckily we don't have any error in it. Then run it. So it is asking me for the age. I have entered 20 and then I will enter. Once I enter, it's displaying me the message, you are eligible for CNIC. Now I'll run it for the second time. 16 and you are not eligible for CNIC. I'll quit this program now. For programming you must have the concepts of programs. That is more important. As I told you, if I have more than one statement, for example, I want to display a message, hurrah. And the \n is a escape sequence used for next line. And another message I want to display, printf. For example, an alarming message, alas, that we use for sorrow. And I think we can use another thing, that is the sad smiley. I want to display as message. If my program is like this, so what the compiler will do, compiler will basically understands here, if I don't put my curly bracket, if I put my curly bracket, these two statements are connected with this if statement. But if I forget to use these two, as I told you, it is mandatory if you have more than one statement connected with your if body, then you have to use the flower bracket, the curly brackets. If I don't use, what will happen? I'll give you the practical view. I have saved this in the test, and I will have to again execute my program in order for you people to you could understand that if I don't use the flower bracket, the curly brackets, so what will happen? This is age program. I'll quit this program and I'll make it big. Compile this program first, and luckily again we don't have any error. Then run this program, enter your age. I'll write 20, then I'll enter. Hurrah, you are eligible for CNSE. This actually, why it is showing, it is showing just because that it is after that statement. If you have a certain condition in this, let me give you, if I write a certain condition, let me give a, I'll give you another message. I love Pakistan. It is actually is not the part of this program, so I want that only this statement should be executed with this simple age. So if I run this program, it will execute all of the 3 lines that are in that. Like here, look at this. Hurrah, I love Pakistan, you are eligible for CNSE. In order to have this as the part of the, so what I have to do, I have to keep these statements in the body. Now these 2 statements is the part of this if condition. Later on we will have some scenarios where we will use more than one statement with a single if. So keep in mind, if you have more than one statement in any if body, so that must be enclosed in the flower bracket. If my age is 16, alas, the said smiley, you are not eligible for CNSE. So this was the first type of decision structure used in C language. I hope आपको समझ आ गई होगी. Still, if you have any questions, so you can ask. We can use different conditions, different types of condition. For questions, you use the Google Classroom, and you can also email me. I've given you all the contacts and details. So it's goodbye from here till the next class. Allah Hafiz.